Capricorn, welcome to your weekly reading. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Capricorn, Sun, Moon, and Rising positions for the week ahead. Keeping in mind that these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone. So make sure to check out your other placements because you could have messages there. And if you're interested in receiving a personal reading, I am offering a promotion for the month of May. So have a look at the description below and you'll find all that information there. All right, Capricorn. Let's see, what is the current energy around Capricorn for the week ahead? Ace of Swords. Capricorn. Okay, so there may be a new idea coming through for you. It's funny because the Sagittarius reading started with the Page of Swords, so I wonder if you have placements in Sagittarius. This is interesting. So it feels like there's this new idea coming in here for you. And, you know, without reading that too deeply right now, it does sort of feel like it's going to shift things for you towards sort of a realization. It's not just a new idea. It's almost like you're becoming aware of something. And it's sort of heightening your consciousness around something specific that could lead to a lot of success. And it feels like it's like a eureka moment, like, aha, I've discovered or realized or become aware of something that's really going to serve me. And look what's on the bottom of the deck is the Ten of Cups. So it's like you've discovered or realized or become aware of something that's going to expand your path, that will allow for a lot of emotional fulfillment, and it feels like it's something that's going to create a lot of success for you, and it's like you're going to realize it. It's going to occur to you as a realization. Let's see, what's blocking this for Capricorn right now? What could be blocking this? Oh my goodness, so interesting. Two of Cups with the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. So the blocking aspect of this intrigues me, because this Two of Cups to me is not reading like a love card. I know typically Two of Cups is like not seeing eye to eye with another person, but I actually think what could be blocking you, Capricorn, is that you're not seeing eye to eye with yourself. You're not seeing eye to eye with your higher self, and you're not seeing your full potential. And there's something about this Nine of Pentacles that makes me feel like you don't truly see how much you have to offer, and you don't truly see how much you have within you. It's like you don't see yourself, Capricorn. And that's what's blocking this major realization or awareness that could lead to a lot of success, is that you're having a hard time trusting yourself as having what it takes. You don't see yourself as you really are. You see yourself through a limited perspective that could be evolving right now. And it's exciting because sometimes when we see cards like this in a reading, it really makes me feel like you're stepping into an awareness that's really going to serve you, and you're going to realize just how much potential you have, and it's really going to show you something within yourself that you may have been unaware exists or not giving yourself credit for. Seeing the Queen of Pentacles, my friends, on the bottom of the deck, which is Capricorn, and it is this energy of being really resourceful. So you might not realize how resourceful you really are, or how self-made you are. The Queen of Pentacles is so self-made. She's also so grounded and secure, and she is self-reliant and very resourceful. She's a healer. She's connected to nature. She's that earth element expressed through the divine feminine. So very nurturing, very grounded, very healing, trusts herself, knows herself, and doesn't diminish herself. And that's what this feels like. So the obstacle, Capricorn, is that you may have this difficulty in seeing yourself as glorious as you are. You may limit your view of yourself and be like, oh, well, you know, and maybe you put yourself down. Maybe you talk about yourself in a way that's really limited, and you're not seeing the full potential that you carry. So hopefully after listening to today's reading, you'll consider seeing yourself in a different way, maybe doing some mirror work. When I see that Two of Cups, it may be a signal that you need to look at yourself in the mirror and have a little conversation, looking at yourself in the eyes, the windows to the soul, to really see yourself. That can be a very powerful exercise. Now, let's see, what's top of mind here for Capricorn? What's top of mind? Yeah, see, the narrative, the self-denial, the inaccurate narrative that you're telling yourself about yourself is coming up. This card really wanted to come out. Let's take it. It's the Page of Cups. So you're missing the signs about something and you're denying how, you know, gosh, it's funny. I keep getting this impulse to say that, you know, you've got to shake out of this. Like, it's funny, the words coming into my head are like more severe, but it's like this is holding you back. You're denying a truth about yourself, and it's time to really be honest with yourself about who you are and what you're capable of doing. You're doubting yourself, Capricorn. How come? Why are you not seeing yourself as the embodiment of the Queen of Pentacles? And don't worry about gender, but it's this idea of really being connected to who you are. Let's see what's driving all of this. I kind of love this reading because I feel like we're breaking down some limited self-beliefs. Let's see, what's the... Oh, look at that. Okay, so I'm going to leave them just as they fell, like this. Look at that. That is so interesting. I keep wanting to swear. It's so funny. I keep wanting to say, damn it, Capricorn. Like, this feels urgent. This feels really important and urgent information. You're about to turn all your losses around. Oh, look at that. There was a card hiding behind there, and it's the Page of Swords that was in Sagittarius's reading. Did you see that? That was funny. It just slipped out there. Okay, let's start with this card. So, Five of Pentacles, which was also in Sagittarius's reading. If you have placements in Sagittarius, you should go watch that. This card is one I love to see in reverse because it means that you're about to turn around all of the losses and setbacks that you've sort of perceived in your path recently. And that's what's driving this reading, is that your losses are about to turn around. Your sense of being held back or set back is about to turn around, and it's because you're examining these limited beliefs, and I think you're going to take action on shifting them. When I see this page, sometimes the Page of Swords in reverse can be all talk, no action, but looking at the rest of your reading tells me that I think you're going to take some action here, because there's the Chariot, which is moving you in a direction that serves you. This is you getting in your chariot and saying, I am leaving those limited beliefs behind, and I am no longer connecting to myself in a way where I'm just not being accurate. Like I'm looking at myself in a way that's limited. I'm not seeing my full potential, and that ends today. Seeing the Hierophant tells me that the connection you have with your higher self is sending you so much guidance right now. And that guidance is a bridge. It's a bridge between your higher self and your human self. And it's like you're expanding in a way that's enlightening you to realize where you need to shift and where the dialogue and the narrative that you're saying to yourself about yourself needs to shift. You're awakening to something big here, Capricorn, and it's about to show you just how full of potential you are, and how there's a spark of an idea here that's bringing in an awakening, a realization, an awareness that is going to show you who you are and how capable and how much potential you have to turn your whole life around if you wanted. You know what I mean? That Five of Pentacles in the reverse really is a time where we're about to turn things around and come into a place of balance and equilibrium that leaves us in harmony with abundance, prosperity, and the truth about ourselves, where we're no longer lying to ourselves about ourselves. It's very interesting, this reading, and I'm just getting excited looking at all these cards because it feels so transformative. So very transformative. Let's see what the past influences are. The Hermit, isolation in reverse, okay? So I say isolation because it's in reverse. This is a time in the past here, I feel like you spent a lot of time doing some self-work, some introspection, but you did it so far removed from others. And now it's time to come out of that place. And you may be very comfortable there. And I think that's why it's coming through in the reverse, because in the past you really withdrew from society. You really withdrew and put yourself in a place where you sort of wanted to connect with yourself. But in that process, it's almost like you started to hide more and more and more of yourself. And so it's interesting, Capricorn, because I feel like in the past, your intentions may have been to do some inner reflection, but you may have found yourself so comfortable being away from other people that you just sort of kept it going. And now you're almost being guided to step back into things, right? The Chariot, it's guiding you back in somewhere. So it's interesting. It's almost like after a period of contemplation, soul searching, self-reflection, it ended up being that you sort of hid yourself away in the deepest parts of self-discovery, but didn't actually allow yourself to reconnect yet. And you may be in the process of reconnecting now. And part of that is to realize that it's time to show yourself for who you really are. I think you separated yourself to understand yourself, but now the separation has gone on almost too long, and you've retreated so far back that you may be disconnecting from others, and it may be time to reconnect. Let's see what the upcoming energy is. Eight of Wands in reverse. So upcoming energy may feel like a lot of shift and changes. The Eight of Wands in reverse sometimes makes me feel the same as a Tower card, where there could be significant changes coming up for you that are going to create a little bit of instability, because things need to become unstable a little bit for you to shift and reorganize things. But sometimes the Eight of Wands can be a time of sort of delays or hesitation. So when it's in reverse, I mean, not when it's upright. When it's upright, we're following it and we're moving quickly towards something. But seeing it in the reverse says that you could hesitate because of this energy where you don't see your full potential. So work with this energy, Capricorn. Work with this energy. And if you start to feel yourself hesitating, take a minute and reconnect to yourself. There's Temperance on the bottom of the deck. Take a minute, take a beat. If you feel yourself really hesitating and limiting yourself with words like, oh, well, that'll never work, or I won't be able to do that, or that sounds like too much effort, or I don't have what it takes to do that, and yeah, I'm good at this, but that'll never work because I'm not good at this. Catch yourself. Catch yourself in those moments and realize that you're only as limited as you believe you are. And so, again, I keep focusing on that Seven of Swords up here in your conscious mind that says, with this Page of Cups in reverse, that you're not seeing your full potential. And you're not acting on your full potential. Not only are you not seeing it, but you're not acting on it and you're not communicating it. So if you catch yourself in a moment where you're hesitating because you don't believe in yourself or you think you're less than something, catch yourself and shift it. Start working on that awareness, and that will really bring you into the present moment, showing up as your full self, right? Bit by bit, it'll help. Let's see, how does Capricorn see themselves right now? Look at that. There's the Queen of Pentacles. She's back. She's in reverse with the Knight of Cups. So what that says to me is that right now you don't see your full potential. That's being confirmed loud and clear. and that you don't feel like you can sort of follow your heart. There's something about your energy right now that feels less than you are. And that sort of came through already in your reading, but it's being confirmed right here. So this is the spot in the reading where we're looking at how you see yourself. And right now you're seeing yourself upside down, because the Queen of Pentacles is Capricorn. And when she's in the reverse, we tend to take all those attributes I just talked about and we don't see them in ourselves. We don't think we're self-made. We don't believe that we're resourceful. We don't believe that we can be self-reliant and sort of impervious to things really impacting us, because we know we have our back. And it's like you don't see yourself that way right now. And the Knight of Cups, Knights are all about movement. So seeing the Knight of Cups in reverse says to me that you're not completely moving to the beat of your heart, right? Like you may be hesitating, like that Eight of Wands suggests, and you may be denying who you really are because you can't, for some reason, you can't see who you really are. You're seeing yourself tiny when you're so expansive, Capricorn, and you have so much to offer, and yet I feel like you're hiding in your home by yourself, not talking, not thinking that what you have to offer has any value, and that no one really wants to hear what you have to say. So you may be feeling that negative emotion is blocking your progress, but you're not in touch with the fact that that's happening right now. You're really needing to come into balance, to be receptive and open to yourself and to share and communicate what you've got to share and communicate. I feel like some of this is going to involve speaking and thinking in a different way. So it's about the narrative that you're holding in your mind, that you're carrying this perception of yourself, and it's also about expressing yourself authentically and being a bit vulnerable, actually, with that Knight of Cups. Really interesting. Let's see, how do other people see Capricorn right now? How do other people perceive Capricorn? Look at that, Judgment. So other people see you on the sort of the edge of understanding yourself in a brand new way, and they see how much of you that you don't see in yourself. They see it. Like, it's like it shines through you, even if you don't see it, Capricorn. It shines through you. Like, the truth of your energy is apparent to others because it's written all over you and it shines through you. Your energy is like a lighthouse, and it feels like you're the only one who doesn't see your own potential, that other people can see it. Other people see you. Other people, understand you in a way that you don't understand yourself right now. And it's interesting seeing the star card here on the bottom of the deck makes me feel like you have some self-doubt, and maybe not just some, but that you're not connected to yourself, in that you don't see yourself right now for who you really are. And there's so much here. There's so much potential for reversing or sort of shifting your perceived losses into wins and moving forward and being enlightened about yourself, and you're having this awareness about yourself that's true. It feels like that's all very challenged right now, and that's okay. You may be going through the next level of an awakening and understanding yourself. None of this is bad. It's just energy, right? It's all working with the energy that's coming through you right now to optimize how you see yourself and to expand beyond these limited narratives. Now, let's see what the hopes and fears are. Six of Cups in reverse. So again, hopes and fears, Six of Cups in reverse, that makes me think that we're doing some inner child healing here, where we're healing and we're sort of processing past trauma in a way that allows us to understand ourselves better. And I think the hope for you is that you will understand yourself better and that you will overcome some of these beliefs that you may have held as a protective mechanism. You got to watch Sagittarius reading. If you have placements in Sagittarius, this is very, very complementary to that reading. So if you have placements in Sag, make sure you check that out. But this feels like your hopes and fears are surrounding these sort of narratives changing, the emotional quality of your inner child shifting into a place of safety and expression. So that, you know, if you were to say to your inner child, what do you want to do? And your inner child would look back at you and say, well, I want to do this. And maybe you're used to saying to that inner child, but we can't do that. That's not going to work. We'll fail at that. Instead of saying that, just give it a try. You know, it's almost like if you were to imagine yourself actually talking to the little version of yourself. Don't squish their dreams. Let them express what they want to do. Maybe they want to do something that right now you're like, we can't do that. Do it. Little steps here, you know, like to try to expand beyond your limited beliefs about yourself, to show yourself what you're capable of. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we surprise ourselves when we remove the barriers and say, okay, I'm just going to give it a try and see what happens. And then you realize you did it and it was no big deal. And it's like, oh, wow, you know, I've been delaying and procrastinating on that. I've been all talk and no action on that for months. And I just did it in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? It can be very awakening when we step out of these perceived limits that we set for ourselves. Very, very enlightening and awakening. And I mean, these perceived limits may have been in place since you were a child, Capricorn. So you might need a minute to sort of find them, because you may have been using these limits and beliefs so long now that you don't recognize them as being limited. You're just like, well, that's just the way it is. And I feel like that got put in place when you were a child, maybe through an experience, maybe through, you know, when you were growing up, a teacher may have said something to you, or a parent, or a sibling, or just a person, and then it became concrete. And so now you're being challenged to shift that concrete structure, to realize it's not concrete at all. It's an illusion. It's only there because you put it there in your mind. Someone put it there and you let the structure be built. Does that make sense? It's interesting to think of it that way. But I feel like you're ready to move on from that. You're ready to awaken from those limits, to see that it's almost like walking up to it and then you try and touch it and you realize you can put your hand right through it, because it's only as real as you believe it is. Now let's see, what's the potential outcome here for Capricorn? Okay, we're seeing the Knight of Knight of Rods with the High Priestess coming out both in reverse. So that's interesting, because the Knight of Wands in reverse always makes me ask, where are you sabotaging yourself? So the final outcome of your reading is guiding you to ask yourself that question. Where are you sabotaging yourself? And seeing that coming through with the High Priestess again confirms to me that that Two of Cups we saw in the beginning of the reading is you and your higher self. So it's like you and your higher self need to have a conversation, and that's shining through both of these cards for me, about where you're sabotaging yourself. Where are you sabotaging yourself, Capricorn? That's the question of the week. And then seeing the Hangman on the bottom of the deck confirms that it's time to look at things from a different perspective. It's time to consider that those concrete beliefs that are limiting you are not real, right? And that they're not true, that they're only as real as you believe them to be. And we can see with that Seven of Swords that they're not real, that they're things that may have been planted or downloaded into your thoughts when you were little, or, you know, as your inner child sort of believed those limits that were told to you or expressed to you, and they're not real. Like, seeing these messages tells me to, you know, that your homework this week is to ask yourself, where do you have limited beliefs or mistruths about yourself, or fears about your intuitive abilities, or not paying attention to that inner voice trying to guide you to step away from those limits and step past them and realize that they were never true limits. It's an illusion. So where are you sabotaging yourself? That's your homework this week, Capricorn. Very interesting. Now let's grab an oracle card for Capricorn to close this very interesting reading. What is the highest guidance for Capricorn this week? That card wanted to come out, and so did that one. Okay, interesting. Okay, so it's time for a nap. This is an interesting card because it really says to put your mind at rest and sort of allow yourself to find your authentic self naturally without sort of forcing it. That time for a nap card is an interesting one. I don't see it come up that often, actually. And it's sort of one that suggests you need rest, rejuvenation, and renewal. And this will allow things to come to the surface. So it's sort of like put your mind at rest and step away from all of your limited thoughts about yourself, all of your limited beliefs, and let that inner voice have some quietude to talk to you. Because when those limited thoughts are active and we're hesitating and we're in a place where we feel like we can't do something, sometimes we can't hear that inner voice trying to guide us. So right now it's important to sort of let that overly busy mind have a rest, so that you can hear your inner voice trying to guide your dreams to the surface, to let your ideas flow through you, to allow this awareness to come to the surface and to have space to hear it, right? This is a great time to take a break from a busy schedule when we see this card. And it's also a really good time to work on your imagination and letting go of attachments and dreaming really big. Maybe doing some meditation or taking a holiday, a little break, to see what epiphanies you'll realize. Because there's been so many messages here in your reading of that idea of an epiphany or a level of awareness coming in that really serves you in a new way, that pushes you beyond what you thought was possible. And that no place like home card is really just guiding you to stay authentic, to see yourself for who you really are, and to not hide that, to express it and to act in an authentic way. And when we do that, we sort of command the universe to reflect back at us what our highest good is, and what's in our highest good. So it's interesting because you're needing to really accept, like radically accept who you are. When we see this card, this is about radical acceptance and authenticity, Capricorn. I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you so much for joining me for this reading. I hope it's been helpful, and I look forward to reading for you again next week. And thank you so much for being here and supporting my channel. I appreciate every single one of you. Sending you so much love, light, and encouragement. Take care.